Hey everyone, Shawn here with Manly Made Minute and welcome back to my channel. So appreciative that you are here. However, little update. I know I've been a little wishy-washy and inconsistent with some of my videos lately. All for due reason and good reason. I am moving. I am keeping a house in Georgia. I'm moving to Minnesota for a new job, transitioning craft rooms and keeping a craft room and 2 studios and all kinds of different crazy stuff happening right now. So I'm doing some pre-recordeds. I promise you once I get moved after June 1st, I will start my lives again on a weekly basis on my channel. And I'm also doing my Wednesday, Men of Monroe Wednesdays for my Brutus Monroe design team with my wonderful friend Walter, who both him and I are on the design team for Brutus Monroe, and go live 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday. We're kicking out some really cool stuff, so you got to check us out. But in the meantime, you've got me doing some pre-records until after June 1st, and I'll be back live with pre-records, way more design team videos coming for my other design teams that I'm on. But I'm catching up with life right now, and I'm just catching up with a new job and letting life just take over and transition and move and do all that. So this is what you're getting, all right? I just thought I'd kick out some new stuff. I'm not going to show you a whole bunch of behind me because my craft space, I'm packing, moving to a different room in my current house to make 2 studios, and I'll be honest, below this level, it's an absolute chaotic mess. So I'm just kicking out a couple more videos before I pack up the last little bit. I wanted to do a video with some Brutus Monroe product with you outside of my design team video because I've got some products that I haven't touched since I got them and bought them. And some of it was given to me free as a design team member. I also want to do a technique I've only done a couple times, and I've done a video on it, but I want to do a card with it. I want to really make it like pop and do something fun with this technique. So I'm going to do some ghosting with baby wipes and some stencils. Before I head down, show you the products I'm going to use and get started, because I'm going to get messy and inky, and I want to do some ink smushing and just make this a fun card. Easy, quick card should be as well. If you're just wanting some easy, quick techniques, that's fun. So before I do that, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Would love to have you follow me here on YouTube and Instagram. Post my hops, all that kind of stuff over on Instagram. So all kinds of cards going up on a weekly basis there. Let's head on down. Let's just take a look at products we're going to use and what I'm going to do for tonight. So I have picked out my distress inks in my little cubes that I don't use very often, for 2 reasons. 1, I like the colors. 2, a lot of my stuff is packed up, and this is what I have left to work with. And then some Brutus Monroe stuff. This Mother's Bouquet I got, did not get to use it before Mother's Day, but I had to have this when I went to Pittsburgh to Brutus Monroe, and this huge floral. I cannot wait to watercolor this and emboss this and do some fun stuff like colored pencils, and I cannot wait to play with this. But I'm going to make it easy tonight. I want to throw some pattern into this. I just want to make this some easy background with some pattern over these flowers, okay? So I'm going to use the Abstract Floral Stencil by Brutus Monroe and ghost through this. We're going to ink smush, ghost, and then stamp, and it real simple, real quick card. Okay? So, and I might actually, I'm not going to use the Happy Mother's Day card. We'll see if I decide to throw a sentiment on tonight or not. But let's start by getting messy. Okay? I'm going to start light to dark. So I'm going to do my greens here in a second, and I'm going to go my light purple first. I want to get some light purple down on this and then layer these 2 over top. I'm not using watercolor paper. I'm just using Nina Index cardstock because I'm just going to ink smush dry versus layer and really throw a whole bunch on. I would use watercolor paper for that, or mixed media paper, or something a little more fibrous and stronger than what this is going to get when it's wet. Okay? So I'm going to take my Shaded Lilac Distress ink and throw this down first. And I'm just going to get a good base of my light purple, to be honest, on a lot of this card base. Okay? Go till it's beady. Lightly mist this. I'm not getting this soaking wet, but just lightly misting it. And I'm just going to smush in my purple. Okay? That's it. I'm going to give this a little dry back so it just dries in place a little bit so I don't keep moving it. And I'm going to pick up the rest of this just to intensify this before I wipe that away. Okay, I just dried it back just enough to keep it from running. And now I'm going to take and smush some more of that in and layer that up to intensify that. And that's it for that, okay? Now I'm going to take my orange and dabble some orange and some purple over into this. But I'm going to do them separate so it doesn't get muddy on me. And I just want to throw color. This was more for my background. Now I'm just going to get enough to get some stuff on here, right? And I am just going to give this just a light spray and then some taps into that. Let's give that just a little more on there. Not making this too complicated on myself. I'm just going to keep layering in my color. So now I'm going to so my orange was carved pumpkin. Now I'm doing wilted violet. All right, now I'm just going to give I just want little taps in here of my wilted violet. A little bit more on that orange section. All right. Now I'm going to give this some greenery, and I'm just going to kind of random on the green. So I'm going to do little splotches of this, like so. So I can just pick up little pieces of this. Get those wet so they bead up. Okay. And now I'm just going to start in my corner and pick up these different little colors of greenery. To frame this out, I didn't even look to see where my greenery lands, because once I do that, I'm going to twist and conform my floral to do so. Okay. All right, dry this back a little bit. Okay, good and dry. I put this on a sticky mat, but it's it's bent, right? It's a little warped here from drying. You can kind of just roll that to flatten that out a little bit. My sticky mat isn't the greatest, but it'll hold the tack. It'll hold down once I get the stencil on. Now I'm using the Brutus Monroe Abstract Floral Stencil, and I'll put the links to all this stuff down below. Some of these I did receive free from a being on the design team, just so everybody knows. I will put my affiliate link if you would like to purchase. Feel free to use that. All right, I'm going to ghost this. So I used a more open stencil because I want to kick this back a little bit and just have the little bit of that design left. So ghosting is where I'm going to take these water-soluble, water-reactive inks. I'm going to take a baby wipe, and it might take two, but I'll grab another one if I need it so it doesn't dry out. And you're going to dab over this to pull and reactivate that ink and pull it back. Okay? And this will just, it weakens out that ink, and it'll leave underneath that stencil a little darker, okay? Just like so. Let's grab another one. Be careful because I'm using Nina cardstock. It's not water-based, so I can see how it grabbed this baby wipe moisture really well, so I just want to be careful not to rip it and keep it so it'll dry back. Okay, now just do that just a little bit more. All right, I'm going to set this just a little bit. I don't want to melt my mat or my stencil, but I'm just going to set it just a little and then peel this back, and we should have our little pattern left. Like so. Okay? Very rough. I want it, if you were to ink blend this and do blending, you're going to get on watercolored paper or mixed media paper, you'll get a little bit more of a crisp kind of feel. I want this just softened out because I'm just going to stamp over this and splatter this. I just wanted a little bit of this texture to pop through on the florals here when I stamp them. All right, I'm going to re-dry this, and we'll be back and stamp this and finish this off. Okay, I've dried this back. I've got it in my MISTI, holding down with a magnet. I got a little piece of tape on the back side to hold that one off, just curling a little bit from drying. And now I'm going to use this Mother's Bouquet stamp, this nice huge floral that I've been dying to use since I bought it, and lay this across. And I'm not too concerned with the greenery being on the green and stuff. I was maybe thinking that. Actually, you know what? If I do it right about there, I'm going to catch a good portion of that. But I think I want a little bit more coverage, so I'm going to just, I still can catch it. There we go. I've got green, 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 little green on those leaves, so I think I'm happy with that placement, actually. And that leaves me some room for a sentiment. And I might actually flip this sideways or the other way around. Let me just go this way a little bit and see if I can cheat it just a little bit, and I can. I want a little bit more of that floral on there. Okay? Pick that up. I'm just going to use plain old black. That's it. Okay, and I'm using my archival jet black. I haven't used this, so I'm just going to give this a little priming just to help with my impression. It's pretty shiny. Dull that down just a little bit. All right. What a fantastic stamp. If you like huge florals, or you want a nice big floral that's relatively simple in design, but gives you space to maybe practice your colored pencils or watercolor, you need this set. I'm not even joking with that. This is a great set to have. It's just nice big florals on the leaves and on the floral itself, to do all kinds of techniques with. Oh my gosh. Okay, I love it. I really like it. These colors, I really like the combo, how that popped off. But we're not done, because I am going to have to add some texture to this for some ink splatter. I think we need white on here for sure, for sure, for sure. Maybe some gold. We'll see. All right. Oh, two works great. Look at that. Really like that a lot. All right. Now, before I finish this, I'm going to pull this out, and what I want to look at is, I used this in one of my last videos. This was a gift from some stash from Cordelia, and I think this card-based stuff will work perfect. I did cut this. I'm going to need to cut this down just a tiny bit more to fit in there. But these are the Cools cardstock from scrapbook.com. I got this from a D-stash from one of my viewers, Cordelia. And these are 4 1/4 by 5.5 sheets with these different colors in there. That purple. Ooh. I like the darker one. Not the blue. Not the light blue. I'm always a killer for these aquas, to be honest. Not the green. Let me go back to that darker purple that we had. I like that because it's grabbing that, actually. Or that, and I feel that's too washy. This seems to make it pop. So we're going to go this. What I'd like to do is intensify my corners just slightly. I'm going to grab my purple brush. Okay, I've not re-inked this. I'm just using what's left on it. And we're going to go around to give me a little something something on the edges of this. Didn't add any more ink. I'm just using what I had on my purple brush. Okay, I'm adding a little extra pressure because as you use it up, it obviously, there's not as much as when I first started. So I'm giving it some pressure here to get some of that worked off of that brush and get it on my cardstock, like so. All right. I'm going to cut this down to, I think I want to use my one of my more favorite sizes, which is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And I'm going to take it off of this edge where I have more of that open space. So 5 1/8 by 3 7/8 would bring me to right there. 3 7/8. Let me just take a little tweak off more. Okay, 5 1/8. I'm going to go off of this. I think I'm going to go off of this bottom edge. 5 1/8. Right there. Now I should have a nice little border. Perfect border. Okay, but I need a little something something over the top of that. So I'm thinking that I'm just going to go white. I really think I'm just going to go white. I'm going to use my Dr. Phil pigments, and I think I have an iridescent one. Yes, I have a white iridescent that we're going to go with. And we're actually going to throw just a little bit of, I think I'm going to do a little bit of gold. Yeah, let's just do a little bit of gold. Okay, let's just do my white first. Give this a good shake. These are Dr. P.H. Martin's calligraphy inks. They're inks. I bought these on sale at a local craft store for like $5 a bottle. I bought like a whole bunch because I love these for splatter. If I wasn't, I would use my watercolor most likely. Or I had another one of these, but this is the iridescent one. I have a plain white one as well. And you need to water these down pretty decent to get a good splatter off of them. Might as well mix this one up while I'm at it. And we'll grab my fan brushes here. All right, so I'm going to do some white with just a little bit of flecks of gold in there. Just a little gold. Not much. Okay? Water this down really good so you get a good splatter on these. A little thick, so just thicken that down just a little bit so it dilutes. All right, I have found I need this just a little watery than I would normally think I would to get a good splatter off of these types of inks. Get my little splatter going here. There we go. A little bit more here. Just the textures. With this technique, because I wasn't going to color that floral in, I'm just going for texture. So that's why I did the ghosting technique. Now adding the ink smooshing and now some splatter. Texture on texture on texture, just to give it some visual appeal on the eye without having to do all over color, in those florals. All right, let's just give this a little gold. I just want some flecks of gold in this. Not too much on the gold. Let me see what I got here. Just a couple little more in there. Again, this is thick. You got to keep this water, this kind of paint ink watered down. Okay, I think I'm happy with that, actually. Let me dry that back and place this up on our card base and see what we think. These inks, especially the iridescents, dry back pretty nice and pretty quick. That mica in there helps them dry a lot quicker. So let's just sop this up before I make a good old mess of myself here. All right. So idea here also is just to get a little mixed media, get a little messy, make this a simple card but yet a fun card. Because I feel like sometimes we always just want to color these in, or I want to watercolor and things, and I don't just stamp simple black, But I wanted a good amount of splatter. I wanted a good amount of texture on this easy card, so it just pops. And then I'm going to throw this on my card base. It might be a little damp yet, actually. I didn't know if I dried that as good as I probably should have. Center that really nice. Let me just flatten this out a little bit. And stop my phone from ringing. That was the mother, so I suppose I'm going to have to call her back. She's, you know, put her on hold. She's probably not going to like it. All right, let's just check this out. What a great, easy, textured kind of card. Let me bring this in just a little bit. I think a nice little sentiment over here, nice little sentiment up over here would be great. A nice thank you. This would be a great happy birthday, a great get well. I just did a great get well card for my last video last week, so I think this would be great as a get well card as well. So let me go to my face cam, show you. I always like to show you the front side of this and get the camera to focus on that and not my face. There we go. Lots of texture on this card. Very watercolor-like. So it's very like you just did some smeared kind of watercolor. But what a great, easy, fun card. So I will link all this product. You've got to have a big floral in your stash. If you don't, get this one. You can watercolor this, you can color and pencil this, you can ink smush this, all kinds of stuff with a good big floral. Tons of options. This is a great design one with some nice flecks in there as well, with some shading and different things on it. So I'll link all these products down below for you, but hopefully you like it. Hopefully this just gives you, you know, get out some baby wipes and do some ghosting and get out some stencils. If you ink blend and rather than ink smush like I did and use watercolor paper or mixed media paper, you're going to get a much more intense, much more crisp ghosting effect. So give it a try. I promise you, you're going to like it. You're going to have fun, and you're going to go through a pack of baby wipes making some backgrounds. So thank you all so much for hanging with me. Appreciate you all so very much. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. Would be very much appreciated. And until next time, I will see you in Minnesota here in a week or so for my first live back home. All right? Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.